Hello, fabulous friends and fans. I am your host, Nadiya Shah, and welcome to another episode of Nadiya Shah Productions. Thank you so much for being here. It is such a treat for me to introduce you to one of my very good friends, really life-changing to meet this woman, Chrissy Philp. Chrissy Philp is the host of the Bath Astrologers Forum, and just meeting her, interacting with her in the beautiful city of Bath has been deeply meaningful to me, and I had the very special privilege of sitting in on one of her sessions with her students, and I am so honored to share a few clips of that session with you right now. So in the clips that are coming up, we are going to be looking at Chrissy talking about Amy Winehouse. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Amy Winehouse, with her recent death from, well, they don't really know because it's only been a couple of days at the time of this filming, but we know that she had some issues with addiction, and so that was very much on her students' minds. And we also talked about Neptune and its connection to some of the floods and environmental uncertainties that have been going on. It is, again, as I said, my absolute honor, my privilege, my joy to celebrate with you, Chrissy Philp.
Neptune's there. Chiron is in the 12th house, so that's drugs, isn't it?
And he's got a yod.
12th house belongs to Pisces basically, but here it's ruled by Mars, so it's a very assertive 12th house. It's reckless. Ruled by Mars, it'll be quite reckless, this 12th house. And if she gets aggressive, she could very well say, oh, I shall just take a lot of nice drugs and hide away from this aggression. I don't like this. We have Neptune here, conjunct a Capricorn moon, and I did explain to you before that I've had experience in my life of people who've got a strong Capricorn Sagittarius, Neptune's in Sagittarius connection. They can't seem to get it together because it says, go out and have a good time, you know, have a lovely time, have fun, and the Capricorn says, don't, you've got to work. Yeah? And so there's this dichotomy between them, and the Capricorn moon is going to be self-critical and authoritative, like there's a little man living on your shoulder emotionally telling you what not to do. But the Neptune in Sagittarius is saying, let's go and have a good time and take lots of drugs and have, you know, and let go. So there's an insecurity in her nature there, isn't there? Anyone else see anything they'd like to talk about? See, here we have
The yod to Kairon.
the yod to Chiron. That is very noticeable. From Saturn, which is the ruler of the Capricorn moon, and the moon, yeah, so there they are connected, look. And Saturn is conjunct Pluto, and Saturn is in Scorpio, so Pluto is its ruler, and it's pointing at that very wounded 12th house here. Yeah.
In general, how do you interpret Chiron in the 12th?
Well, the 12th house is a womb, really. You know, you can think of that as the womb, and here's where you're born, on the ascendant. And so this is when you're the baby, screaming for whatever you want. There's just me, and this Taurus one is where you're learning to feed yourself and potty train and manage your body. So when I go back to this is like a womb. So it's either you sort of die at this point, and you're going back after death. So it's looking for purity, looking for the spiritual, looking for the beyond life, isn't it? Or it's literally want to go back to the womb. I want to go back to the womb where I have no responsibility and I feel one with everybody else. Yeah, and with Chiron there, where she feels wounded and she's only young, and if she was an old lover and if she could have survived, she'd be a great teacher. But since she hasn't survived, Chiron there, as I can see it, and probably bad influences from her friends there in Gemini, you know, too much going on, so she can't feel settled, especially by that Neptune moon conjunction. You know, it has difficulty finding its own boundaries anyway. So with that Chiron in Gemini, it's going to be very neurotic, I think. And yeah, so I would say that Chiron in that house in a young person's chart is where she's going to feel all the wounds and all the hurts of life. And she's going to want to say, you know, give me lots of drugs that make me feel that I'm back one with everybody in a nice womb where my mummy is feeding me, I don't have any responsibilities. But it's also going to help her to have her amazing talent, because the Neptune moon is artistry. Yeah, it's the films of her, isn't it? That's the film of her there. There she is doing her Sandra on the stage Neptunian bit. I'm slightly, slightly funny. I'm on drugs, but I'm doing this great singing because I'm so talented. And it's got this lovely, lovely trine to a Mars conjunct Venus. So I'm beautifully sexy, and that's in Leo. So I'm on the stage. Don't you think I'm gorgeous? And here's the sun here. So she's quite fussy about how she presents herself. She's going to, and possibly because it's conjunct Mercury, the words of the songs matter to her. The words of the songs, and we have this Jupiter-Uranus here in Sag, don't we, which is opposing the Chiron. Look at that. So that's not going to be helping that Chiron at all. Is she going to be identifying, maybe when she's at home on her own, she's identifying with the Chiron. Nobody's there. It's not very glamorous, it's not very exciting, it's not very Jupiter, is it? So she's going to go and be lonely and be upset by life, and so she's going to, and there's this horrible yod to Saturn here, and Pluto. Pluto is part of the Saturn there because it's close enough to, it's not close enough to be a yod because we only give a few degrees to a yod, but because it's connected to Saturn, you can't think of Saturn without Pluto. So you have a Saturn that's very, very deep, profound. With Pluto there, you've got Saturn in Pisces. You play the victim beautifully. You're really good at it. You make me feel very bad. Sorry, she says, don't you? Unless you've really done something wrong, and then you can get angry. Now, here we have, let's get on to this Amy here, because here she has the Saturn, which is ruled by the Pluto as well, because it's in Scorpio, making this uncomfy yod, which Sue Tompkins says is like having a stone in your shoe. It's a very uncomfy thing, a quincunx, pointing at the Chiron. So here she is, right, she's on the stage, she's doing a Jupiter bit in Sagittarius, and she's serving the world by doing her singing, isn't she? But she's glamorously serving the world. It's got Uranus there. I'm being rebellious, I'm having my hair all over the place, it's big, I'm a big sounding person. And then she goes home, and it's lonely, and where are all the friends? And there's Coral feeling all lonely because where are all those people? Where are my friends? Yes? She thinks, oh, I don't like this, I'm going to go and have some drugs. And then where's my relationships, you see? Here's the relationships over here. Neptune in this house means that she could be quite a victim, couldn't she? In a relationship situation, she can feel herself to be a victim, maybe because she loses her freedom. And Monica, like you, and our lovely Beatrix, she might like her freedom. Oh, it's Nadiya that likes her freedom. See? It's very hard to have a relationship and want your freedom, isn't it? Because relationships demand a certain lack of freedom. It's sort of a loss. You sort of have to, like having babies, you sort of lose your freedom. It's the same when you have men.
I was also thinking that the moon at 0 degrees, I found 0 degree.
Capricorn. Clever girl, yeah. Look at that.
How do you
Zero
find 0 degrees?
0 degree planets, I find, let's take the moon for example. It's like, it's in the 7th house. She knows that she is fulfilled in some way. She's going to seek that comfort in relationships, but at 0 degrees, where does it go? It doesn't even know how to go about it.
It's just started.
Exactly. It's kind of, it hasn't even owned that energy yet. So if she was at 1 degree Capricorn with that moon, then she would have said, okay, I feel cared for when I am achieving and I'm with somebody who I can respect. When I have my self-respect because I'm working towards my goals and I'm with somebody who also is that way. But at 0 degrees, she may know that that's what she wants. She wants somebody that she can respect, but doesn't really know what that means, doesn't know how to ask for it, doesn't know how to go about actually getting it. And to me, a 0 degree moon is difficult in any sign, but especially in Capricorn, because Capricorn is about manifesting. That's how self-respect happens, when you actually do what you set out to do and your effort leads to manifestation.